How's it going, Mr. 411?
Man, it's great, Zach. A great day to be around on the flat earth.
Okay, Kyrie.
Yep, man. What about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. The producers gave me some 411 gear, so things are going well.
Well, ain't that something? I hope they send me some stuff too, so I can, mix it up a little bit. But yeah, it looks good, man. I like the merch right there, man.
Yes.
Uh, Looking good, man. All right, well, it's the Sports Brothers, right? Zach and
Yes, it
411.
is.
We back at it. December 15th, 2022. And welcome, as you can see across the bottom. We had to give everybody the ticker tape parade. Welcome to the show. We have a lot in store today. We may even have, maybe a person come through and join us. So be ready for that. We're gonna talk some NBA. We're gonna talk NFL, and we're gonna go an extra layer into the NFL and talk about maybe a little back and forth. Some people may call it shade. If back out in the streets, they say shade and all that kind of stuff. So might be a little shade thrown, but we'll talk about that too, um, which will be exciting to hear a lot of people's thoughts on that. So with all that said, Zach, are you ready?
We ready.
Sports Brothers.
I'm waiting for it.
Was that the beat goes hard?
No, not that.
Oh, this.
Yes, that was it.
Yes, we thank everybody who hits the like, the subscribe, and notification bell. We thank everybody who watches the show. We thank everybody who shares. The sharing is caring, as Calculator said on the previous show today. So I'm gonna borrow that line. We also thank Blackjack TV for the simulcast. The Jack.
Thank you, Blackjack. And as Mr. 411 said, thank you everyone that watches and subscribes and tells your friends about it. And it
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
cost you a thing.
That's good. Very good, Zach. Because you're absolutely right on that. Man, the sports world, man, is buzzing, Zach. The NFL is heating up. The playoff races are. Um, we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna get into what a Dallas Cowboy had to say about an Eagle. So we're gonna talk about that today. think that's gonna. I think between the Cowboys and Eagles, they play in the upcoming weeks, and I think that's gonna be a little extra fire for that game. They're already big rivals, but now add a little bit more to it, which is good. It's good for the ratings. All right, well, let's start with the NBA, Zach. We'll go ahead and jump right into that. The standings, producers are getting that together. But in the meantime, Zach, what are some of your thoughts on the league up to this point? Because we're right there getting to the point where the NBA is going to unveil itself to the world, usually with the Christmas matchups and everything. But what have you noticed so far this season?
uh, Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum. They really haven't missed a beat without Ime Udoka, and it makes you question. I know everybody had flowers for Ime Udoka. How important was he really? But I am quite surprised by what Boston is doing. And then on the other side in the West, New Orleans Pelicans. Zion is a legit MVP candidate, more so than what everybody keeps trying to. Everybody keeps trying to put Luka in there, and I would say his team is treading water. The Pelicans have it's early, but far exceeded any expectations I believe that anybody had for him, at least to this point in the season.
No, that's true because a lot of people were, including myself, like the team. and think the
Yes.
team was going to be a playoff team, barring health and everything, they would definitely be a playoff team and a tough out. But man, to say that they're like, in the running of winning the league, the West, wouldn't go that far. And man, you hit the nail on the head today, Zach. I mean, those are the two teams right there that are really showing themselves. They're not going through the regular season. Let's just get through the season and let's just rest the players and don't play back to backs and all this stuff. These two teams are going, man, and got to give them their due. Boston just came off of a road trip. I think it was 4-2 on their road trip, which is very good going out west like that. Um, and as you can see in the standings, I mean they're right there. The Bucks are right there with them as well. I will say this: even though the Nets are not leading the East, or they're not really in that all out conversation yet about going all the way, or at least make it to the finals. Kevin Durant has been on a tear this year, and he is really getting it done on the court. He would be a candidate as well, in my opinion, for
Uh,
MVP.
absolutely.
The way
They
he's
had
playing.
they had utter turmoil, and the best thing about the
Yes,
Nets right now, you don't hear anything about the Nets right now.
right, and I
Like
think that's a good thing.
it's only really basketball right now. That is great.
Right, absolutely. And yes, so yeah, keep eye on Kevin Durant. He's doing monster work as well. As you can see in the standings there, the Grizzlies. That would be Mr. 401's early season prediction there with the Grizzlies. If it wasn't for these pesky Pelicans, the Grizzlies would be leading the West right now.
Well,
So
they're there, and they've had their issues. As I, you know, we look at this say after 60, 70 games. If the Pelicans are still up there, I'll like shocked. If they're still up there after 60, 70 games, their coach deserves to be coach of the year, most definitely. And I'd say Zion should be a strong candidate for MVP if they're up there because I don't know who thought that. And I'd maybe go, even though I just said Pelicans coach should probably be up there, Blazers coach, Billups, if
yeah,
they
Chauncey
keep this
Billups.
up, because they lost Lillard for a good little bit. And
Hmm.
if I saw those standings correctly, they're in the upper half. They're top 4 seed. They get a home game right now. Who
Yeah,
I wouldn't have picked that. I'm not sure anybody had that.
no, I think a fair projection for them would have been, the play-in tournament. I think that would be realistic, and it would not be a shame, especially in the West. I mean, that play-in tournament, you're probably 500 at worst, to play in the tournament, and that would have been great for the Blazers. So yeah, I mean, they're getting it done. Anthony Simons is
Yes,
really
you talked
stepping
about
up.
him. You said
Yeah,
watch for him. I throw the Kings in there.
another good
And
one.
really, you could probably throw the Jazz. I think the Jazz, they're
They're
doing their
still in it.
best. They're doing their best to get down there to the bottom. They just nobody's giving them help. But the Kings, uh, they probably envisioned this when they went and got a. You talked about, uh, oh man, his name is slipping my
Sabonis.
head. Yes, Sabonis. You talked about
Hmm.
this with Sabonis for a while. You didn't have him going to the Kings, but you talked about what type of impact he could have as a player. And he has had a, I would say, significant impact on the team. Mike Brown coming in probably hasn't been bad either. That you have a veteran coach and 7 seed right now, good for
That's
them.
right. Yeah.
Now, you might look at what Lakers, Timberwolves, probably Mavs and Warriors. By them not doing maybe what people expected them to do, they've opened a door for those types of teams. But if this can keep up like the Warriors, and I'm still in some thunder, but I believe you're going to go about the Curry injury. Now
Good
we get to
timing.
see. Now we get to see what you talked about a good little bit about with Clay. This isn't the Clay maybe from 2-3 years ago where you'd say, okay, be a one option, but he gets a opportunity to. You can see what he can do without Curry around.
Yeah, absolutely, because Curry's going to miss a couple weeks. Based on the shoulder and whatever they're coming out with the doctors, they're saying he's going to miss a few weeks. So we won't see Curry on Christmas Day versus the Grizzlies, but we will see Draymond Green against John Morant. So we'll see how that. We'll see if they meet at the rim.
And I would take a slower curve. Like whatever the prognosis is, I might add a week or 2 weeks to it just to make sure that he comes back completely healthy, no relapses. In many ways, the Warriors are playing with house money since they won the championship last year. It's no reason to force Curry back because you would expect to have Curry for a couple more years at a high level of production.
Absolutely. And with it being such a long season, and
Yes.
with the play-in tournament, I mean the Warriors, they can definitely still make the play-in tournament. And I like what you mentioned just a few minutes ago as well, Zach. You mentioned the Mavs, the Warriors, the Wolves, and the Lakers. I think the experts would agree that those were four teams that we all would have had in the top, at least the top eight. And now these teams, all those four teams are not in the top eight. So that means the Western Conference is a lot of topsy turvy right now, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the season plays itself all the way out. And I'm looking at the Clippers too, Zach. They're sitting Paul George again, and I say that because he's on my fantasy basketball team. It's probably the worst addition that I made because I'm thinking with Kawhi being the one that they're gonna load manage, that Paul George would benefit throughout the season, but it looks like they're going to load manage both of them. But still, look at them, 6 seed. So
Yes.
despite all that, the Clippers still find a way to make the playoffs. I mean, you remember the year they made it without having Kawhi and Paul George, and before they even came along, they still made the playoffs, if you will. So something about the coaching and the system over there with the Clippers, they find a way to use all their resources and be effective to at least be a playoff team with or without superstar players. So I
Well,
think that needs to be mentioned.
well, Balmer wants to win. Like Balmer is doing everything he can to make the Clippers a first class organization to win. And it's probably smart that they're doing this load management thing to try to get to the playoffs. And what worst case can you get 28 games like max out of Kawhi and
Come on, George.
yes. Or
Yeah,
if I guess if you're playing in 30 games, whatever that number, but you want to make sure you can get the maximum amount of them. If you got to make them miss games right now, smart by them. What old term messing up the church's money is probably the Blazers and as I said, the Kings. That when you were talking about those teams at the lower end of the spectrum in the West, you don't have those, or maybe not so much the Kings, the Jazz, because you would have thought that. Well, I definitely thought. I said, hey, what are the Blazers doing giving Lillard $60+ million? Now, I still don't think they're gonna win the championship, but they're being relevant, and I
yeah,
guess this is why you pay them, among other things.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. And notice we didn't even mention the Suns yet, in the direction they're going to head. But we'll keep an eye on them too and see if they can rise or not, or if they can lower. So right now they're kind of stuck right in the middle there, and we'll see how Phoenix gets things together. No, Chris Paul's been out for a while.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was. And then
yeah, I'm
did
back.
Booker just get hurt,
You know what?
or did he get
Um,
suspended?
we'll put that on the YouTube.
Okay.
So,
And and from looking at the West, it may end up that a lot of the veteran teams don't have the best regular season record, but come playoff time, I wouldn't be surprised if you see, kind of like you said, the Suns and some of the old heads rise to the top if things stay the way they are. But it's still early.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So we look forward to the Christmas Day matchups and everything. That should be fun to watch as well. And the season is heating up. Uh, we got to talk about the Hawks because we're in this area. Well, I'm in this area, and you lived in this area for a long time, Zach. The Hawks right at 500. The Miami Heat, your Miami Heat, right at 500. There's a lot of teams between the let's just say 6 through 12, 6 through 11. I think it's going to be a lot of movement right in there, Zach. So we have to see what happens in the East. But we definitely know the cream of the East is going to be the Celtics and the Bucks, without a doubt.
You would
Um,
think I'm going to do your old thing. I would probably throw the Nets in there. And I would say, depending on how the Nets are going to finish this thing out, getting the numbers 1 seed will be important. That way you don't have to play the Nets in the second round.
Yeah. And keep an eye on the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are playing good ball. They have a good unit. And picking up Mitchell is actually paying off for them. And I think that addition is going to, make sure that they're in the playoffs. And it looks like they're going to try to fight to have a first round home series, to have home court advantage in the first round. So if the Cavaliers can position themselves there, I think that's a major get for them and their organization.
Absolutely. And with some of the pieces they have, depending on what they want to do, I know you didn't like this too much, but they might be in position to do what the Lakers did when the Lakers brought in Anthony Davis, that you bring in another guy now to get you to a championship type level. Because I think second round is probably their stopping point this year, but they have a lot of young components, and this is good for them, especially post LeBron. Like, I think the knock is typically LeBron leaves and your team kind of gets destroyed. I'm not sure people thought the Cavs would be able to come back, but they have progressively gotten better as this has gone along.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Zach, that was like NBA talk, if you will, and so we'll keep an eye on everything as we get up there towards the Christmas Day games. I enjoy those games, man. So
me too.
Check it out, and the season will be off and running at that point.
It makes for a great Christmas after you've opened up presents and or ate with the family. You can sit back and watch some excitement. And they try to give you the best games they can give you on Christmas Day. And I see somebody's at the door.
Well, I guess we better get it. All right, I guess I'll get up. We always have that, Zach, where sometimes nobody want to get up and go check the door, but I'm gonna go check the door here and see who's there.
What up, Philly Red Zone?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Zach, Mr. 411, how y'all doing?
What's up?
It's been a minute. Hey, man, the season has been beautiful.
Philly Red Zone.
Let me get it going,
baby. What's good?
Hey, man, everything good, man. Good to see y'all, brothers, man.
Good to see
y'all
you.
Doing y'all thing. Yeah, man.
You're right. Things have gone well for the Eagles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cannot complain, man.
Yeah,
it's been a very good season so far.
I would agree.
I bet. I mean, that's the understatement of the year so far. It's a very good season for you guys, man. But look, but before we get into the Eagles talk and the NFL talk, you are a Philly guy, through and through.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Will Smith, he said this, and I think you both have this in common. Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where you spend most of your days, that kind of stuff. And so, before we switch over to the football, to the gridiron, give us your thoughts on the 76ers, man.
Oh, right now the Sixers is, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right now. I tried to watch a game with those guys, man, and I kind of, I want to keep my sanity, so I keep all my sports watching on Sunday. I'll say that because I can't. Between Joel, between Harden, and whether he's gonna play, when he do play, will he show up? And the kid Maxey, man, now that's the guy that they missed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the Sixers, and they brought in all these old Houston Rockets, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, guys, it's not 2015 or 2016 no more.
Yeah.
You bringing in all these old guys, and they were supposed to make the team tougher, but I don't see it. I mean, I was looking at the standings when y'all posted it, and they're the 5th seed right now.
Yeah, they're right there in the middle right now.
And I mean, that's where they right now. And that's where they should be at. But I think that's where they probably gonna end up at, because between the Celtics, Milwaukee, Cleveland with the Mitchell, man, that was a hell of a trade.
It was.
Woo, hey man, that changed the game for Cleveland. Bravo to them. So I think the Sixers gonna stay middle of the pack. I mean, Joel, 1 minute he's scoring 59, the next minute he's sitting on the bench, load management. Next minute he's hurt. Next minute he put up 42, and then just kind of this whole cycle. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all heard the chirps, because even though I'm in in Texas, I still keep up with Philly sports, and they already talking about should the Sixers trade Embiid, and and then also Doc Rivers. Man, that guy. I don't even want to get on here and say anything bad about.
No, you have a friend in Zach. You have a friend in Zach with Doc Rivers.
Oh, that guy is man. They need to take his whistle away. It's time. I mean, it's the same thing. You got all the pieces, you got all the athletes, you got everything you need, and you still putting out the same products, still running the same crappy defense, still running the same, we just got to move the ball, we got to spread the ball around. Okay, yeah, you're moving the ball around, but these guys can't knock down open shots. You don't understand your personnel. And it's just too many, I don't know. It's just too many flaky players on this team. It's not that guy that you like, a LeBron or somebody that you can just give the ball to and say take over. And Maxi's going to grow into being that player, so I'm real excited about him. But
all right,
but
maybe down the line they'll build the team around him.
Yeah, they have to do that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have signed Harden again after last year. I'd have let him walk, and that would have been Maxey and Embiid team. And then and maybe they could have talked to Utah about getting the trade done with Mitchell. But
wow, that actually sounds good.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
that's just me. That's just me sitting on the couch. They get paid millions of dollars, but the GM and Harden is like best friends, so you already knew that how that was gonna work.
Yeah, he been longing for Harden reunion forever.
Yeah.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll keep an eye on we'll keep an eye on the NBA, especially starting Christmas Day. We'll get deeper into it.
Yeah, it's still early though.
And
we're knee deep into the NFL, man. So we got the two gridiron guys on here right now.
Well, I was gonna say he can't have everything in Philadelphia. Y'all just had the Phillies in the World Series, and you got the Eagles. Y'all doing well this year.
Hell yeah! No, I was excited. I was sticking my chest out a lot, and I had the best of both worlds because I'm down here in Houston, and heck, a couple weeks ago I was at an Astros game before I realized the Phillies was good enough to get to the World Series. I had my Astros shirt on, and then the Phillies got in the World Series. I'm like, they were like, so who you rolling with? I said, I'm Switzerland.
Oh, man.
But hey, my heart was red, man. When they won them first two games, those games, man, I was like, oh, it's gonna get real spicy around this office.
Yeah.
But the better team won. The Phillies did their thing, man. I'm excited. I was excited for the city because I know the passion of the fans, and anytime Philly win, man, it's good things coming. So and then the soccer team. I don't know nothing about soccer, but Yeah, I was like, dang, they in the finals. I'm like, woo. You know, they didn't close the deal, but you know, it's good. Things is looking up.
Yeah, Philly's hot, man. Philly's hot.
Yeah,
Before
it
we
Yeah.
is.
before we transition into the NFL, let people know about the real Philadelphia sports fan. What is it like to be a Philadelphia sports fan? What's it like up there in the Northeast?
Oh man, for one, just overall passion, man. A lot of knowledgeable folks. Blue collar town, man. You know, I mean, you see a lot of Sunnis because we got to get a big Muslim population, man. But you know, the guys and the ladies up there, man, are very passionate. They love all the sports, you know, and especially when they're doing well. I mean, people spending their hard-earned money to go and support the teams. You know, they close down schools if the parade happened, nobody's going. You know, got fight songs. I mean, I tell people down here, man, you know, Philly is like, again, it's a college atmosphere for professional teams, you know, and I really
I agree.
stand on that. You know, I mean, you know, when you the hierarchy is Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers. And then we put an
Okay.
asterisk at the bottom with the soccer team because they new to the city, the Union.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. I mean, folks, you know, I've been out of the city for what 11, almost 12 years, and I'm already planning on flying back, going out to the link, go to a couple games, and try to time it where I can see, you know, either a Phillies or a Sixers game when I go up there for next season. I mean, you know, we've done traveled, man. You if you look at every game, and you know, I'm a big football guy, but all the football games, I mean, folks travel. I went to the game down here in Houston, and I mean, it was pretty much a Eagles home game. Being at that game, man, and you just see the sea of green. You know, you got your folks. They were there. You know, to see the Phillies. So you had your Phillies jerseys, your Eagles hats or Eagles hats. I mean, Phillies hats, Eagles jerseys. It was just a bunch of passion, man, and it's a brother and sister. So that's how it is. You know, it's a good thing to be a part of. You know, it's a lot of heartache, but when it's good, it's great.
And there it is. And there it is. All right. Well, we're gonna throw these scores up on the board, and I'm gonna pass the baton to Zach, and then you could, you know, you're here now, Randy. So you're gonna, you know, jump right on in there with us on the conversation, because you're at
All right, cool
home.
deal.
All right.
All right.
All right. There's some of the scores from week 14, Zach. What stood out to you?
Got to be the Raiders losing to the Chargers. It just when you thought the Raiders were going to get themselves back in and maybe sneak into the playoff, that's probably the worst loss of the year. Like they bring in Baker Mayfield. He has had 2 days to digest the playbook, and you lose that game. Like that's a terrible loss. That is, and now you got the coach. He's lost to a quarterback that showed up 2 days before the game, and then you lost to a head coach that was doing TV like a week before
Right.
you played him.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, Josh McDaniels. I think he's in over his head. You know, that defensive coordinator. When I saw those guys impress man with like 34 seconds left, I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like, why are you impressed man? And then the safeties, they're looking on the other side of the field. I'm like, guys, it's not rocket science. One stay deep on one side, one stay deep on the other. Like it's simple. You would think, and they to blow that game to Baker. I mean, all kudos to Baker. He showed up and balled out, you know. But for the Raiders, I mean, you got Devontae and you put up 16 points.
Yeah.
You got Jacobs and you didn't feed him. Like, I question McDaniels. I don't know if he's trying to find a way to get out of the Raiders organization because he has a track record of seeing the landscape and then try to get out of town. Maybe he's trying to get back to New England, but yeah, that was just a bad loss.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, how y'all feel about the health of Lamar Jackson?
Man, second year in a row coming down to the tail end of the season, and he's injured. And then it's his knee, right? Did they give more detail on the nature of the injury?
Yes, Mr. 401. I'm sure you know all about this injury. Please tell us.
Yeah, well, that being my starting fantasy quarterback.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sure you're well.
he's out another week. He won't be playing this week. So yeah, he's down again. And man, the situation with the contract and everything, and now he's going down with a knee of all things. You know what I mean? Like, boy, I tell you. But yeah, his injury is we're gonna see how Huntley does, because he's not Lamar Jackson, right?
No, by no stretch of imagination. Yeah, but he had a concussion. Did he clear protocol?
Yeah, he's starting this week.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. Because when I seen him get banged up, I'm like, oh gosh, who's the third string?
Probably going to be you.
Sorely.
Well, unfortunately, the real problem for the Ravens is they dropped those games early in the year where they had those big leads in the either second half. Because if you'd have won those games, you'd have gave yourself some cushion. Now you gotta try to win these games to stay in it, because you might not just only lose the division, you might fall out of the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bengals is on their heels, man. Yeah. I see the Bengals taking it over. I see the Bengals taking over, leading that division in AFC North. I see that big time. I mean, Chase is that brother. Golly. Yeah, man. I missed him for a few weeks. He on my fantasy team. Oh man, you talking about drawing straws. I was the waiver wire king.
Hey man. And the thing is, on the real field, the Bengals keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? With or without them. Even when Mixon was out. When Mixon was out, they still kept going.
Well, they stabilized the offensive line, which has helped them a lot. But they're good position. They need to I'd say, if they can, win some more, because they're setting themselves up where you're going to have to either go to Buffalo or go to Kansas City, depending on how your seeding is the playoffs. And that's probably not what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, if they need the KC to lose one more game, and they need Baltimore to lose, and then they can slide into number 2. That'd be insane.
That would be that'd be the route you'd want to go if you can. And
Buffalo, so
way Buffalo plays, they always apt to lose a damn game.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's Josh Allen and everybody else, and I mean, you can take Diggs out the game, and Josh Allen is just running around.
He turns into Cam Newton.
Yep.
Yeah. I last week watching him that game, when he took that hit on the sideline, they bent his body all up. I was like, whoa, hold on. He popped right up. I don't know what type of vitamins he took before the game, but that was kind of a close one.
Absolutely. Hello, Beulah, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
All right. So, hey guys, what's your take? What you guys think about San Francisco? Do you think that they're legit here as far as a contender coming out of the NFC? We haven't gotten your team yet.
Look,
but outside of your team.
No. I do not want to believe with your third quarterback, a guy that was Mr. Irrelevant, which is fine because you're still an NFL player if you drafted last. I'm not going to believe that this guy can lead them to a Super Bowl or even get them to the NFC Championship. If he can, more power to him and more power to San Francisco, but they have all the pieces except the quarterback.
I would agree. I mean, I watched. I know, the big pundits, they love to tout San Francisco, the team with the star and all that stuff. But I watched their games against Miami as well as the Bucks, and they face two organizations who basically they're real, and they're magic. The Miami, their run is pretty much they're on a downslide, man. I watched that game, was just bad. All that talent, and Tua couldn't get it done. He's turning the ball over. He's not making timely throws. And if you do that with San Francisco defense, I mean, their defense is elite.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they won that game. And then to go to the Bucks, I mean, the Bucks is done. They're averaging 17 points a game, barely, and to watch Purdy do what he did, basically he was dinking and dunking the whole game, and Debo was just the better player in the middle of the field, and him and Kittle, and then you got Ayuk. That's my guy. I wish he was a bird, but anyway, I digress. You got him and Jennings, man, on the outside. Those guys, I mean, they came to play, and then that defense just got after Tom Brady. So their defense is elite. If you in a dogfight with them, like a 17-14 game coming down the stretch, it'll get murky. But if you put up points on them, you jump out and you find a way to, get to early leads, and you play solid defense yourself, you're gonna beat San Francisco.
And the more Purdy plays, the more film teams are gonna get on him and figure out, okay, what can he do, what can he not do? These coordinators in the NFL get paid too much damn money, and they live at the damn facilities. If you got to tell, if it's something off with you, you got something this week, they gonna expose you. Or I shouldn't say expose you. They're gonna make you play left-handed.
Yeah.
To try and get you to do what you don't do well.
Yeah. And you saw with Ty Bowles, I mean, he was trying to blitz him, and it worked for the at one point, but they would just leak you on the back end. I mean, Dean on for the Bucks is, oh my gosh, the guy's either a PI or a touchdown, one or the other.
He's Keely Ringo.
And Purdy saw that. And he used it to his advantage. And then, with Vita Vea, he was, I don't think he's healthy. And then McCaffrey started gashing him, through the A and B gaps, so it was, but I'm with you, Zach. I think, long term, more tape come out, they'll figure out how to confuse Purdy, and then he's going to start turnovers, and it might start tonight.
So it sounds like you guys were saying it's going to get Purdy ugly.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
You get that pretty ugly.
Yeah, we got it. You're going to give Chappelle a run for his money.
Good one, Zach. Good one, Zach. All right. Well,
that was good.
Yeah, you guys hinted towards maybe tonight. And tonight, my Seattle Seahawks, who had a bad loss at home against Carolina last week, will be hosting the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll see how this goes. This is the game that Seattle needs to get to get back into the playoff. They was in the playoff, then out it with the loss. Now a chance to get back in it with the victory here to get back into the picture. So,
I would just say, Seahawks fans, don't get greedy, because at the beginning of the year, you guys, especially somebody with the show, said, I just want to win one game. And then we get the number one pick. And right now, you have a team that is a credible team, and you might get the number 2 pick still.
Yeah, how about that?
That is a excellent year.
Yeah, and we have our former quarterback to thank for that.
Hey, so Russell Wilson's still playing for you.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Yep.
He's doing more for you now than he almost did when he was quarterback to the organization.
Yeah, much appreciated, Russ. You keep it up. And Russ, we trust.
Yep. Yeah, Russ took a
Okay.
bad hit. Whew.
All right. Yeah, it was. Well, now look, Dallas, right? Your enemy,
Mhm.
Randy. The Dallas Cowboys had a tough one there with the Houston Texans at
Yeah.
home, but they did get the victory at the end of
Yep.
the day. Trying to keep up with you guys. Y'all
Yeah.
running like Usain Bolt right now. So they're just trying to
Yeah.
stay in the position to catch that draft, to catch up with you maybe. But so with that said, Dallas, give us your quick thoughts on the Cowboys, and Zach as well, by the way.
When I look at Dallas, I mean, that team, to me, they're immature. Um, they count their chickens before they hatched. I mean, I think with that Houston game, they looked at the schedule. Them guys in the locker room probably like, oh man, these the Texans, man. They won one game. They probably weren't paying attention, And then the Texans, I've seen them up close and personal. Lovie Smith had those guys playing good defense. I mean, that's one thing Lovie Smith gonna come off the bus and play defense. And those guys, they have a great defense. But I just think it was just looking past your opponent. They were probably looking 2 weeks down the road versus going 1 week at a time. And you hear a hit first. I am an Eagles fan, but I'm also a football fan, and I got the Cowboys on upset alert against the Jags, 34-20 Jags. I'm just letting y'all know because the Jags have a lot to play for. If you look at the standings, they went out. They might be in the playoffs. That would be interesting, but that's all I got to say about the Cowboys. That's about as good as I'm gonna go be positive about them. and y'all lucky y'all got that.
Understand. All right, Zach, you have anything you want to talk about with Dallas?
They're everything that the Eagles are not, and I say that in the sense of Randy talked about earlier that the Eagles, a blue collar town or whatever. If the Cowboys would just they focus so much on the superstar and making the splashy plays and all this. And I talked about this when Cooper Rush was a quarterback. They tried to keep everything simple, run the ball, play good defense. I said when Dak comes back, my concern is they're gonna want to throw the ball every damn where. And what has he been doing? Interception.
Yep.
And let's be real. And I'm gonna probably say some bad things about this guy in a second. But who would you rather have as your quarterback? Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott? And I don't even think it's a question that, and Jerry Jones kind of brought it up that he'd rather have, or he complimented Hurts. But if you asked him off the record, he would tell you he'd probably rather have Hurts than Dak. Dak should be you paid him all this money that he's supposed to go out there and win you games and get stuff done. And the construction of the Cowboys, they'll make the playoffs. And I'm probably going too far. I will be shocked if they can, and it's probably gonna work out bad for them because the NFC doesn't go by records. It's gonna go by who the division winners are. So you're gonna end up say the 5th seed. And if you do win as the 5th seed, if somebody that's the 6th or the 7th seed doesn't win, and you win your first round game or wild card game, you have to go to Philadelphia. And in the second round. And then there you go. You can't even lose to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. You're gonna lose to them in a so they won't even have any damn progress from last year.
Yeah.
They just need to change up the culture. And they'd be served, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, if they had a culture that was more like the Eagles, or say if you went about your business, maybe like the Patriots or some of them organizations that are just buttoned up.
That's a good point.
As we're about to see in a second.
I agree. But as an Eagles fan, I want all that chaos. Keep the chaos going. Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry. As long as look, it starts with the owner. Like
Yep.
he pushes this, and the players just it's a shame. Like they should be better. But as I said, we'll see in this video. I don't know how much we're gonna get from the producers, but if we get maybe the full thing, you'll get to see the contrast in the organization.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great transition there, Zach. We're gonna talk about your Eagles, right? Because everybody knows that they're at the top right now. They're vying to be one of the best teams in the league. You only could probably mention maybe the Bills and maybe the Chiefs, right?
Not
to be in the conversation, but I think a lot of people think the Eagles are Super Bowl bound at this point. But man, we got to talk about a Cowboy and a Bronco. Well, former Bronco, I'm sorry, a Cowboy and a Bill that has some comments to make about an Eagle. So I want you to listen to this, Randy.
All right.
And you and Zach gonna break this down for the listeners.
Okay.
In a few minutes.
It's all good.
Yep.
But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get this on there. So we'll have it up in just a second.
Well, you can.
But while it's loading. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, while it's loading there, Zach, I didn't quite hear you there for a second.
Oh, well, I was saying you can give the gist of it to the listeners while it's loading.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, it was two professional players, and one is a Cowboy, one's a Buffalo Bill, on a podcast, and they had some thoughts about Jalen Hurts and his level of play and what it's based on. And it's about a minute, so everybody has a minute here to, maybe sip on their favorite beverage and listen to this. But check this out.
If you look at the Eagles, is it Hurts or the team? I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think it's system and team. I think it's a little bit of both, man, because they got a great offensive line, which helps Hurts. Hurts has AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. They got a good running game. I mean, Miles Sanders. They scheme that they have. O-line. I mean, bro, and this Eagle Cowboy coming up, ain't it? Yeah, it's coming up. I'm not trying to make no enemies. I just love the game so much, and I understand it so much that I can't. I when things are off, I just can't hold it in. I always gotta say something.
Yeah, you're right. They got a great team, great defense.
Everyone has their own opinions.
But they got Jalen Hurts is MVP.
He's good. He's good.
They got him for the MVP race with Patrick Mahomes.
All right, so we got a minute of it. That's about the most we can get from it. But you heard enough there, Randy.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? From Micah Parsons and Von Miller.
I mean, they're not wrong in a sense of saying it's the system and the players around, but that's the beauty of having a good GM. You want to have good players to go with your quarterback. I mean, if we watched enough football to know if you don't have a good players and a good system, then you just got a quarterback running around throwing the ball, throwing the ball just any and all places with no merit. So, I understand what Vaughn. I respect what Von Miller was saying, because he did say that Hurts was balling. Micah on the other hand, it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Because you can hear the snarky laugh and the eye roll, and it's like, man, this dude is not that good. We looked at the tape and all they did was use me. We're going to have something for him. So I get it, because he he's got to face him in 2 weeks, so he don't want to talk him up. But what they say, you get more bees with honey. That was your opportunity to talk the man up. You don't give no bulletin board material, or you just stay away from the question. Vaughn, if you watch the whole thing, Vaughn was trying to, looking at him like, bro, are you really going down this road? Because he avoided the question, and Micah asked it again. And he answered it with, and both of them was laughing, Hurts is not that good. And it's like the young man put in work all summer. After that Buccaneers game, that young man said the offseason start today with a bum ankle. And I respect that as a fan. And for those guys to not really, respect that and then see what this young man is doing. I mean, the numbers, three players on the team got, 10 or more touchdowns. He's already over 3,000 yards in passing. He got another, 20-something touchdowns, throwing the ball, 10 running the ball. And everyone want to excuse the rushing touchdowns, but touchdowns are touchdowns. They lead the league in total offense. I mean, and for Micah to say that Jalen is not leading the league in statistical categories, that can tell you right there he's not a student of the game. Because if you look at the stats and you can see where he measure up, and they want to tout Mahomes because Mahomes lost the cheetah and look at what he's doing. He's still putting up numbers. I mean, that was his fault he lost the cheetah. Jalen is blessed to have AJ, Devontae, Quez, all the listed characters that I named, and it was just crazy that we was able to see all those guys. The Calcaterras, the Jack Stoles. I mean, that he has a cohesive unit, and he's a very good young man. You can see, they was talking about him, just how his demeanor is, So I don't like it, but it's sports, man, and they'll face each other soon enough, and right. Jalen can really show them.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Kia. She says Eagles. All right, Zach, gonna pass it over to you.
First, I'll just say with this, Parsons is probably looking at their scouting report. I would think so. They have the scout report of the Eagles offense, and it kind of sounded like he's talking about what they hone in on the scouting report. So based on their scout report, they probably look at Jalen Hurts as the least important part of the offense. But who cares? Like it's a team. I know John Elway, and you'll remember this. I don't know how far you go back, Red. John Elway was excellent when he was young. John Elway carried a lot of bad Broncos.
He sure did.
To the Super Bowl, and he got whipped in the Super Bowl because it's hard to win in football if you don't have complementary football going on different sides. I wouldn't vote Jalen Hurts as the MVP, but he's on the best team. And typically the way it works, the quarterback for the best team gets the award. And he's not going out there like he's not Baker Mayfield. He's not going out there playing bad. He's not Tua, how Tua had an opportunity Sunday to kind of show, hey, I can really make things happen.
Right.
Like nobody is, they're not carrying Jalen. Jalen might not be in the front of the band and, he's leading the parade or whatever, but he ain't at the back of the damn band either.
Nope.
He is doing his part, and, good for Micah. I wish Vaughn had asked him about his quarterback, and then let's see how honest you are about your quarterback, because whatever Jalen is, what's your quarterback? And
that would be an interesting conversation.
There you go. And we'll get to see in a couple weeks of, okay, how do you look again? Like, y'all should go out there and dominate this guy. And his problem is, and somebody talked about this. They talked about this today. What was it? I don't know if y'all seen this movie with Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner called The Town. And there's a part in the movie where Ben Affleck comes in and he's like, and I may get this wrong, I hope not, but he's like, hey, we need to go beat some guys up, and we can't talk about it. I can't tell you what's happening. We just got to go do this. And he said, whose car are we taking? His offensive linemen, his guys on offense, when they get ready to go to Dallas and play Dallas, Jalen Hurts go like, hey, there's this guy out there, number 11. Yeah. and everybody gonna say, whose car are we taking? Like
Yep.
Micah Parsons better be ready to play football. And I love the Eagles from a football standpoint. They got a great offensive line, great defensive line that they went out and added to since the last time we had Randy on and talked about it. And you know me, I love cornerback play. There are two defensive backs. There are two corners, I should say, not the safety who's playing well. I think leading the league in interceptions. There are two corners can go out there and match up with your number 1 and number 2 receiver on any team.
Yep.
They're going to be a tough out. It's hard for me not to see them not make it to the Super Bowl. And the only question I would have about Jalen Hurts is if it's 6-7 minutes left in the game and you're down 14 and the other team knows that you have to throw the ball, can you lead the team back throwing the ball? But here's the thing the Eagles just got to do. Don't ever be down by 14, so you ain't got to worry about that. So Micah probably wasn't wrong in what he's saying, but okay, like, all right.
Yeah.
And like I said, you might not just get him 2 weeks from now. Then after your wild card game, you got to go to Philadelphia with your quarterback. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Shout out to Demetrius. Demetrius says, I believe he's directing this to that Cowboy, Micah Parsons. A hater is going to be a hater.
And look, Micah Parsons can feel that way, but you got to go play them dudes. Like, you can feel however the hell you want to feel. You got to go play against all of them dudes, and you might be great, Micah. What's the rest of your team? Like, is your team gonna have your back?
Yeah.
When it's out there, like, you can do your thing, but your quarterback got your back. Does Zeke have your back? Does Diggs, who like to jump routes and get beat over the top, got like, okay. So we'll see who's got who's back, and I have more confidence that the Eagles gonna have Jalen Hurts back. Outside of the fact, Jalen Hurts is an outstanding, like, he's a good person from everything I can see. And so he's a guy that you want to do well, and I'm sure those guys in the locker room want him to do well.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still young, and that's the thing that they fail to realize. The young man, the leaps that he made. You know, and I understand with the whole MVP thing. I mean, I'm shocked by that he's even, you know, in the running for it, you know, because I knew they were going to be good, you know, but I didn't know they were going to be this darn good.
I'd agree.
And he's one of the catalysts into them being 12-1.
Yes,
right.
You know, when you talked about, you know, being down, that Indianapolis game, I'm sitting on my couch stressing.
You're right.
You know, they were down, and that young man put the team on his back.
Yeah,
I mean, and they came out of there victorious. You know, so you know that just told that whole conversation that they were having told me that was just two guys. They pretty much worried about their teams. Vaughn, he's on IR, so he can be more liberal. Micah is an active player, so. You know, he don't want to big up, you know, his opponent. And I understand that, but the veteran was trying to tell the young pup, hey, you got to face them in 2 weeks. And he kept on saying that, like, bro, you sure you want to go there? Because when they played him the first time, Micah Parsons didn't smell the quarterback until Lane Johnson went out. And even still, our backup tackle was handling Micah, you know.
And who was they talked to? I think they talked to Hurts, and then they talked. Is it Jordan Mailata?
Jordan Mailata.
And both of them just said, "Hey, well, Hurts said, hey, I'm focused on who they're playing this week." And Jordan said, Micah should probably focus on who they're playing and not worry about us. And that's why I said those are the differences that you have in organization. Like the Eagles, they understand the big picture. The Cowboys. Like this one game, even if the Cowboys go out and win next week, because I want to say as long as, you know, no upsets happen this week, the Eagles going to have a 2-game lead on you going in that game. You win, you only cut it a game. So the Eagles are probably going to get the 1 seed, and you're going to be the 5th seed. Winning that game won't matter because you're going to Philadelphia, and now you're going to have to win a game, possibly in bad weather. Good luck. And that's how he should have been thinking.
Yeah, and he should worry about his own team because I know you love cornerback play. Technically, they only got one cornerback because they lost their other one.
Yep.
The Cowboys got to do a whole bunch to try to get to the Super Bowl. They need to focus on them.
Yep, I agree.
Yes, sir. Agree. And guess what? There's a gentleman named Tyrone Jones. He says, "Go Eagles." Randy is a great host.
Thank you.
We definitely agree. Randy, you come in dropping the knowledge and everything. And then Tyrone Jones has something else to say here. He says, "Call his agent." Randy, so call his agent. Looks like he's trying to sign you to a deal. And but we have to lock you in before you get, before you start getting big time. All right. So we're gonna lock you into we're gonna grandfather a deal in with you before you get to all these other shows and stuff.
All right, cool deal. We'll talk off here.
Yeah, all right, good deal. All right. He says, "Have your people talk to my people, and we're gonna have our people talk to their people." Okay, so gonna be a lot of people talking.
That sounds like Biggie Smalls, but you have your friends called my friends, so we can all be friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, I'm hoping we can get a Kansas City, Philadelphia Super Bowl, because I would love to see the Eagles as a team go up against kind of like Mahomes, how they try to make it is quarterback, and then you get to see, is it team versus player?
Yeah.
And you know what, Zach? I know in our preseason predictions, I know personally, I think I predicted the Bills and the Eagles in Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I picked Buffalo. I'm an idiot.
Okay, but I would like that even better now, because now you have Andy Reid coaching against the Eagles. You have two high power, scoring offenses. That would be exciting in the storyline of what you just laid out there as well. Mahomes and Hurts, the team versus star, or however you want to look at this thing. That would be, I think that would probably be the most watched Super Bowl. Right.
It would definitely be up there. And I think the thing that would come out of this also is Hurts doesn't make a lot of money right now.
Nope.
If the Eagles go out and win this thing, that might become the model of how you need to construct your team.
Yeah.
Instead of paying a quarterback $45, $50, $60 million, and then now as soon as somebody gets hurt or your quarterback gets hurt, now you can't compete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Assassins. I mean.
And what does that remind you of? It reminds me of the Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
Yeah. Had them at the right time.
Yep.
Only the Eagles are not as mouthy as the Seahawks were.
No, those guys they were that was a special group.
Yeah, that was special defense.
Yeah,
they backed it up. They backed it up. Well,
they
I know
mostly they were very.
The only thing with the Super Bowl I want to critique it. KC, I think KC can't beat the Bengals, man. Those Bengals is
that has been their bugaboo. Like
yeah,
KC probably wants the Buffalo or somebody to intervene. Like, hey, keep those guys away from us as long as you can. So I would agree with that. Like, they don't want to see it. They want to see everybody but the Bengals.
Yeah, man. Those Bengals, man, they run that.
But now that you just said that, Cincinnati versus the Eagles. Oh my, that would be it. You got them two corners out there for the Eagles against Chase, Higgins, Boyd. You got as you were saying, you got the running backs Mixon, Burrow.
Yeah,
that'd be a good offense versus defensive matchup. I don't know how the Bengals would handle AJ Brown and the offense, but
oh man, they're gonna put Eli Apple on them.
And look,
nah.
Good luck with that. And hey, Zach says no, but good luck with that one.
Yeah, he's gonna need about three guys just to cover him, man.
Yeah, man. But look, that would be two of the coolest helmets too in the Super Bowl.
No doubt.
It would be, like I said, the wide receivers against the corners would be great. That would be a really good watch.
Yeah. So, but I'm cool with either one. But I'm thinking more Eagles Bengals. I think the Bengals, man, is going. They just clicking. It's just something about that team now that like you said, they short up their offensive line. It's still leaky. At the guards, and their tackles is kind of because Lyle Collins, he'll give you one good game and then 4 bad games. So, but. And I would love to see that against the Eagles front 7. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Burrow would be running for his life.
that would be rough.
Yeah,
so
Burrow would be under the turf on that one. But yeah, that'd be good. It'll still be fun to watch. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
but yes,
definitely.
Look, man, excellent episode today. Glad to have you in the building, bringing your knowledge. And as you told me off air before, not just NFL, you talk all sports, and we do definitely appreciate you being on Philly Red Zone, aka Randy, aka H-Town, aka Philadelphia, PA,
all day.
where you born and raised, So yes, definitely appreciate you being on, Zach.
Hey, don't the Eagles get a pick from the Saints or something too? So aren't they another one where they're gonna get a high pick also?
Yeah, right now that pick is number 5. So everyone,
crazy, isn't it?
Boy,
yeah,
like
these
deals.
the rich get richer.
Yes, like we're gonna hope y'all. We don't think he'll fall to you, but Jalen Carter out of University of Georgia might not be bad, or Tyrone's guy Will Anderson.
Yeah. Well, we want him in Seattle.
Those are the 2 guys I'm looking at. Anderson and Carter from Georgia.
Your running game,
you get one of those guys.
Your running game is very good, especially with the Hurts RPO part running game.
Yeah.
You are a complete team.
Yeah, Miles Sanders just got 1K. Kudos to him. His first 1K season in his career. So hey man, it's yeah, they rolling, man. They just got to keep it going, stay healthy. They're getting a lot of guys back, So, I mean, Dallas Goedert to be back. Avonte Maddox, our slot corner, he'll be back. We dodged a bullet with Reed Blankenship. I thought it was ACL. I was holding my breath, but it's a low grade sprain. And then we got CJ Garner Johnson to be back from his spleen issue. I mean, not spleen, kidney issue. So. They're getting healthy at the right time. Don't look past the Bears. Go up to Chicago, get an early lead, and then get back to Philly all in one piece. And then we'll talk again, gentlemen, for that game 2 weeks from now. Hopefully, y'all can get some Cowboys on here. That want to.
I'm hoping the Cowboy fans have better perspective because, as I said, even if you win this game, you're probably still the 5th seed. So it's going to be the 3rd game that really matters. If I'm a Cowboy fan, I might want to lose this game because what they say it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah. But they gonna bring everything that they have plus the refs. So. We just gotta go. We just gotta go up there and just put up points, man. Just put up points, and and that be that.
Absolutely. Any closing remarks here, Zach, before you take us out of here?
No, it's been a pleasure to have Randy. As I said, you should be very happy about your team.
Yes, thank you, and I appreciate you brothers having me on. It was fun, and again, I'll do it again.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Y'all have a good one. Peace out, guys.
Hey, Randy, you know what?
Hold on,
yes, sir.
Hey, your team is almost good enough to beat the University of Georgia.
Woo! I'll let you have that. I like Georgia. Hey, man, that Ringo kid, tough. Woo.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool.
All right, guys.
Randy. All right. Well, for Randy and Zach, I'm Mr. 401. We thank everybody for watching. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one.